And joining us right now, great pleasure to welcome to the show today, a man who has written a book that I think a lot of people are going to find useful. They may be in a situation where they need a job very quickly. I guess we all do. The Panic-Free Job Search is the name of the book. Unleash the power of the web and social networking to get hired. We're joined today by Paul Hill. He's president of Advanced Technical Services, an international search and placement company, and he joins us by telephone today from the beautiful country of Canada. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Doug.
Good to have a chance to talk to you. I had a chance to read through the book the last few days there, and I know you're in Canada, but you do business, of course, in the U.S. as well. But I guess everybody all over is kind of worried if they have a job, or are they going to need a new one, or if they don't have a job, how do I get one?
Right, exactly. Yes, that's a big challenge today for everybody, and definitely.
The whole job search process continuously changes. I mean, I remember when I was in college back in the 80s, there was a certain way they wanted you to recommended that you do it, but I think you can throw all that out the window now, right? I mean, it really has changed drastically, I would say, in the last 5 to 10 years, right?
Right, over the last 2 to 3 years, really, it's really changed drastically. The what I call the old way of looking for a job used to be about what I call click and send, going to job boards and going to, post things online. And that's really the old way now. What's happening now is that most employers, like the larger ones, are turning to social network sites to find people. And the reason they're doing that is that the systems that they set up, these are called ATS or automated tracking systems, don't do a very good job of filtering out resumes anymore. And the reason being is that everybody knows about keywords and keyword stuffing. So what's happening is it's getting much more difficult to get selected by these systems. And one of the crazy statistics that listeners really have to hear is that according to John Ciampi, who runs this firm called PrepTally, who does a lot of research on these things, only 1% of online applications actually result in getting hired. So think about that.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. Yes, exactly.
99% against you right there.
Right, exactly. So even the whole challenge right now is like, how do you reach that? How do you get in? How do you get hired? And it's really about getting found and getting hired. And that's what the book is about.
I always thought, and I've been saying this for years, my father said it to me, when you go to school, how come they don't teach you? I mean, they teach a lot of things you need in life. Obviously, that's important. But why isn't there a course, either not in high school or in college, where it's mandatory, of job search skills? I mean, each college has like career placement centers, but that's kind of voluntary. Well, why not have that as a curriculum where you have 3 credits, 6 credits? I think wouldn't people be a lot better off?
Absolutely. That's something we talk about, and I actually mentioned in the book. We don't. It's not only, and that part of it is great, what we call the tactical part, but that's the part that everybody talks about, right? Like, the mechanics of getting a job. But the front end is the part that a lot of people don't talk about. And that's the part that really stops a lot of people. And what do I mean by the front end? It's how one feels about themselves, their confidence. What happens to a lot of people when they get let go, especially if they've been working at a company for a long time, that's like family to them. You're working there for 10 years, and all of a sudden, they pull you into an office and they say, hey, going out the door, we don't even let you go back to your desk or anything, and out the door you go, we'll send your stuff home to you. And, that's your whole life. That's your family. That's everything. That's your identity that's crashed. And a lot of people find themselves in a downward spiral. And, they talk about the long-term unemployed today. And, I'm 50 years old. And that group, that demographic has been really targeted. And unfortunately for them, a lot of them have been in long-term employment. So they find themselves, it's not so much that people say, well, they're unemployed for a long time because they don't know how to look for work. It's not, not necessarily just that aspect. It's the confident aspect, You lose you get depressed. They really don't have the confidence anymore. And, if you don't have confidence, you can go to an interview all you want. You can say all the right words, but it just reeks out of your pores. And unfortunately, we've got to get people back up. And in the book, I've got two sections of the book, what should I call it? My system's called ACT, which is alignment, confidence, and tactics. And the tactical part is what everybody's talking about, right? All the radio shows are putting me on and all the rest of it because it's really brand new stuff. Mm-hmm. But I keep reminding everybody that if you don't have the front end, no matter all the tactical stuff you can do. It's just not going to pay off for you. You know, so I really want people to really understand that part of really figuring out what do they want, getting their message clear, building their confidence, and I show you how to do all those things.
Yeah, you mentioned the confidence aspect of it. Like, a lot of people, like you say, have been in a company, if you were lucky enough to be with one place 20 years or so or more, and you're thrown outside, like you said, carrying that box of belongings out the door, it's a painful sight when you see people do that. It takes a while to get over that, but you don't always have the luxury of time. You may get a severance, you may not. You may get unemployment, but that's not going to really do much for you in the long run. You got to turn yourself around quickly. I know it's tough, but you got to do that mentally, right?
Right, and in the book, there's one I call it Taming the Inner Beast, and what I do is I introduce people to something that I found has been remarkable. I have people that come to me. I'm not kidding you. I'm serious. They're ready to commit suicide. They've been unemployed for quite a while, and I turn them on to this brainwave technology that I've discovered, and basically it's guided meditation. And what it does is they have special waves, alpha, different things for different things that you want to achieve.
Let's talk a little bit about, you talk about the social networking. People go on the sites, LinkedIn, of course. I guess that's one you recommend in the book. Well, give a tip or two, if you can, or what's the best way to use those sites, other than you can't just point and click. I mean, what should you do?
Well, okay. The whole idea here is really, it's about creating your image online and building some what I call digital cred, and that's really critical if you're employed or unemployed. If you're employed, you want to be proactive about your career. Companies are not looking out for you anymore. Job security is gone, as well as your promotions and your career. We used to leave it up to companies to take care of that. So if you're employed, now is the time to build your networks. When we talk about you use social network sites, but you do social networking, ING. That's the important part. That's an action. And most people just go on to the sites. They put their profiles on, but they don't spend time connecting and engaging other people. And, what I want to impress upon people, if you're employed, and we'll talk about the unemployed in a second, but if you're employed, it's too late to start doing this once you're unemployed. That's when people start panicking. Do it while you're employed. Be proactive about your career. It's about your future. When you set up a great profile, you attract opportunities to you. Now, in terms of if you're unemployed, you need to create your professional brand anyway. Because employers, if you were one of the lucky ones and your resume does get through for whatever reason and you're using that strategy rather than the ones that I suggest, employers will Google you. They'll go in and see what are you doing online.
Right.
If they find nothing, they're going to form an opinion about you. If they find something, they're going to form an opinion about you. So what do we want them to find? We don't want them to find a lot of personal stuff. We want them to find a lot of great professional stuff. So that's what we show you how to do. So the first thing, and I've got 2 levels of professional branding, I call it, and for the basic, what everybody needs to do is really determine what their sustainable competitive advantage is. And that, I give you a formula to figure that out, and then promote that online. And the first level is to get into LinkedIn and to create a great profile on LinkedIn. And what your listeners have to realize when we're talking about LinkedIn, it's all about showing up at top of searches for specific keywords that people would be looking for. In your case, would be your job title or special skills in your particular industry. And the idea here is that you want to make your profile as keyword dense as possible, and the headline at the top, as well as all the job titles and the job where you work. Those are the areas that have the most relevance for keyword density. So you can pack those in a number of different ways. Let me give you an example. Sarasota immigration lawyer, or lawyer immigration Sarasota.
Mm-hmm.
You can flip things around either way you want, but it's to make that as dense as possible, as many times as you can, and to make sure you have a good professional image. No avatars on LinkedIn, and really, unless you're in the entertainment industry, you want to carry one picture across all your profiles.
Same picture on all. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot new out there, and like you said, if you were fortunate to be with a company a long time, but now we're fortunate enough to have to look for work, it's a quick learning curve, but I think this book is going to help a lot of people. It's called The Panic-Free Job Search. I've been talking with Paul Hilt today. I know we just kind of touched the surface, but give the folks a chance to hear a little bit about it. But Paul, give out a website people can get a hold of the book, or maybe get a hold of you if they like.
Yes. Well, for the book, it's panicfreejobsearch.com. And from that particular website, they'll be able to get a hold of me at transitiontohire.com. But right through that site, they'll be able to find me. And the book is available in Barnes and Noble, Amazon, of course, online, and it's available in Kindle as well as the paperback.
Great. Paul, appreciate you taking a few minutes today, and again, helpful information in here, and hopefully fewer people will need to read it, but in the meantime, thanks for writing it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the chance.